Yo. Yo. I'm going to be reading Proverbs 8 today. And on the 8th of April, Proverbs 8, covered through the Jerusalem Bible and qBible. And I'm going to cover some other additional things. Proverbs 8. Wisdom again personified. Does wisdom not call meanwhile? Does discernment not lift up her voice? On the hilltop, on the road, at the crossways, she takes her stand. Besides the gates of the city, at the approaches to the gates, she cries aloud. O men, I am calling to you. My cry goes out to the sons of men. You ignorant ones, study discretion, and you fools, come to your senses. Listen, I have serious things to tell you. From my lips come honest words. My mouth proclaims the truth. Wickedness is hateful to my lips. All the words I say are right. Nothing twisted in them, nothing false. All straightforward to him who understands. Honest to those who know what knowledge means. Accept my discipline rather than silver. Knowledge in preference to pure gold. For wisdom is more precious than pearls, and nothing else so worthy of desire. One thing that I am going to point out is, while constantly you hear about women talking about the patriarchy, and in fact, I'm going to change this book from change this to, how does this sound? Constantly you hear a bunch of people talking about the patriarchy, and there is a Catholic Church patriarchy and a number of quote-unquote patriarchies in the Protestant church and other churches. We're looking at this Western Wall here, and there's a number of patriarchies that are fighting over land, but none of them hold the actual book to its word. And that's the reason why none of them have been able to come to a conclusion. The Jews drop the name, the Muslims drop the name, the Christians drop the name. So you come to major problems, right? In this book, it's talking about wisdom. This is the Proverbs. This is the true wisdom, and this is the God of truth. Even secret cults that you have to be initiated into worship wisdom, and they believe in wisdom. Greeks believe in wisdom. Jews believe in power. That's why they're going to see in power the fact that they've been dropping the name for Hashem, for the title, the name, instead of saying the name, yo. That's why there's going to be a massive earthquake that kills 7,000 people, and that's what Christians are waiting for. Because Jesus already came as the anointed to explain this, and they didn't want to believe it, and they killed him. And they would do the same thing to me, except instead of killing me at my flesh, they would attack me in really terrible spiritual ways, and ways demeaning to my psychology, and a number of other things in order to steal away my reality. And they do this to all sorts of people, and to make examples, but they shouldn't have with me. And so I'm pointing it out. And, one of the reasons why is, again, who are all these Jews worshiping at the wall? Are they worshiping Jessica Shim, the girl I went to high school with, because she's part of some coven of witches that have entrapped the Word, who's the Word of God, Emperor of the future? Look, right as I say that, Kirtland Kramer, someone who I messaged that I was saying, I need help with this situation where my rights are being harassed away in America. They're being harassed away by, I believe, a coven of witches, because the end of the Bible is the whore of Babylon being judged. I asked Kirtland for help on a situation, and I had the whole thing filmed where At this point where she says, like, I asked her for help. Would you help me shine a light on this? She says, I don't really think there's much I can do about that. Like I said before, though, I can be here to talk to you if you need someone to talk to. I said, I believe there's more that you can do than you think. I appreciate having someone to talk to, but people are hurting me, so it's hard to believe you are really there for me. And she said, I'm sorry you feel that way. All I feel comfortable doing for you right now is talking with you if you need someone to talk to, but I absolutely understand if that's not what you need right now. Well, she's at Harvard, and the other person that I know who went to Harvard, Seth Whitsitt, again, more of this Egypt and stuff set, and as I said, Ray born of Ray, and then Matt born of Ray, and then it's all just Jehovah's on me. But there's some weird quantum shit going on where people are holding me in using quantum computers and quantum probabilities, and the machines that they're using to hold me in are falling apart because I've played it just... It's like, you know, you wanna do Star Wars shit. I think I literally did that Luke thing where I just did the right bloop, and I put it right in the right bloop hole in the right time, and I shot the right thing, and it went boom. And that's going to happen there. And this place where these fake Jews are living, and they're actually Nazis at this point, is going to see a mass destruction event. And one of my points with this is, I was talking about wisdom, and I'm being trapped by like a coven of women and all their magic and stuff, just like in Suicide Squad, the Enchantress. Her magic's connected to some weird machine, and there's some kind of weird, like, network. Like, Twitter and all these other networks aren't real networks. Like, they don't actually hold together like the future networks or even, like, crypto networks would. They hold together in weird mesh nets that are, like, falling apart because they're being exploited. And I'll explain part of the exploits. So, wisdom here is, when described in this book, it's talking about, does wisdom not call meanwhile? Does discernment not lift up her voice? And here it even says her voice. Wisdom here is the word chokma or chokma. And when you go here, it's like K-C-M-A or K. You know, you'd have to... I could break it down a little later, but we don't have as much time right now. So, wisdom, skill in war, wisdom in administration, shrewdness, wisdom in a good sense. This is the word for wisdom in the Bible. Wisdom, prudence, wisdom in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, I believe it's Sophia. In Greek, it's another word. You have to look that up. But there is a... Here. Greek wisdom. Yes. I believe that's the word used. So, in the Old Testament, you can see it ends with a hey. The hey here is feminine singular, according to Wikipedia, the Wikipedia's suffixes in Hebrew. Chamatz and hey. Hey, feminine singular. I mean, you know, I know as much that I've learned how to read enough Hebrew from my own, like, promptings and the wisdom that I believe God gives me. And it looks like it's ending with a hey in the way that it's feminine. And so it's describing wisdom as feminine, just as when something ends with yod mem, like, so here's an example. Allah, the title Allah is feminine. It is Aleph, Lamed, Hey, and that's where the Arabs get the title Allah from, which I think it's actually a feminine god from India or wherever else, like using some kind of like submit rape Mecca out of the House of Saud in Arabia, and some Persians and Russians, the Prince of Tobolsk and Roshan Meshech, and like all sorts of money and shit, and it's described out in this Bible. And, like, it's just the ancient words describing the places that are still modern, and it's all going on still. But, long story short, that's what Arabs use for, and I say Arabs can be Christian, so let's see. And Muslims, if you change your mind at the end, you follow Isa actually, his name is Yoshua, and Yo is salvation is what his name means, well then you can do that. And you would be following Elohim, Elohim. So Aleph, Lamed, Hey, and then it adds a Yod Mem, masculine plural. So there's a plurality, and it ends masculine, though I think it can also include feminine. It's just, right? That's even what it has here. If there's a thing at the end, if there's an accent. But these accents were added in the 13th century by the Masoretes, so Masoretic people. So I don't believe these accents existed. I think you just had to take it in context. And so, you know what the context is? Probably the gods, right? So it's the gods, whether male or female, and I think one of the female gods, some female magistrate from somewhere, tried to mecha slam me, and it's causing problems. That's the idea of the whore of Babylon. And Jezebel. Is this related to Bella Hadid and Gigi Hadid? Something about Tim Berg? Is that why Tim Berg committed suicide or was suicided, or is that Sema and Hayakadra? Let's look more into this, because I think a bunch of people around me have committed really atrocious sexual abuse behavior things to, like, prove rape points to me, and it's hurting people. And so I'm going to continue into this. So here you see wisdom is feminine, as we're looking at the temple to the God that I have the name of me on, Jehovah or Yahweh. To the police who don't believe in God or anything, they're just corrupt, idiot police officers. And to the, yeah, I guess, corrupt cops or whatever, rogue police, Nick Vo, Yah, hallelujah, rave over Yah. Because you guys would kill the party, and the only reason that people would want to keep this going, you would kill that. So rave over Yah, because he would set the whore on fire that you've used to abuse me, and keep the party going. To the people that have done billions of dollars in damage to the economy, just obviously. So here is, when it's talking about wisdom. Let's move on. I, wisdom, am mistress of discretion. Wisdom sings her own praises. Wisdom, the guide of kings. That's the, header. I, wisdom, am mistress of discretion, the inventor of lucidity of thought. Good advice and sound judgment belong to me. Perception to me. Me. Strength to me, with a little e at the end. Good advice and sound judgment belong to me. Perception to me. Strength to me. To fear Yahweh is to hate evil. To fear Yah is to hate evil. To fear IA is to hate evil. So to these evil police officers, to hate IA is to hate... To fear IA is to hate evil. To hate IA is to be evil. They created this thing in people's psyche. Cops arresting cops. Look, give me just the power to arrest cops and I'll be happy. How does that sound? Arrest cops and defend myself. At that point, I mean, it's really obvious. Police using their policing authority in the first world to abuse away everybody's rights is problematic. Even Donald Trump is surrounded by police because he's done wrong things and they can strip him of his whatever. And they can do that for foreign countries. So one of the reasons why I'm here like this with the word on me is I'm calling all these people on their bullshit, and I was attacked by people before any of the stuff that they can call on me. What I've done is in response to their behavior. I hate pride and arrogance, wicked behavior and a lying mouth. I love those who love me. Those who seek me eagerly shall find me. By me monarchs rule, and princes issue just laws. By me rulers govern, and the great impose justice on the world. This is wisdom speaking to Iran, calling America shaitan and Satan, while they're some shaitan, satanic, rape mecca slam, magistrate out of Persia. I mean, actually not connected to the real God, but connected to Aura Mazda, probably just some AI Mazda out of Japan. The true AI is not AI at all. It's IA. It's the intelligence that isn't artificed. It's the artificer. You get it? It's the one that's created things. Yeah. The true intelligence. With me are riches and honor, lasting wealth and justice. The fruit I give is better than gold, even the finest. The return I make is better than pure silver. I walk in the path of virtue, in the paths of justice, enriching those who love me, filling their treasuries. Wisdom as a creator is the header here, with a little G next to it. Yahweh created me. Jehovah created me. Yo created me. And here the footnote to that is a little h. Thus the Greek Syriac Targum translate the Hebrew verb kani. The translation acquired me or possessed me. Aquila Symmachus Theodotion was adopted by St. Jerome Vulgate. Doubtless with an eye to the heretic Arius, who maintained that the word, parentheses equals wisdom, was a created being. No. You get it when Jesus applies the word to himself, he's saying he's that word, he's that Yod-He, he is that wisdom. When he says he's the word and the word became flesh, he's saying when God said, let there be light. So I've been explaining this for years. This is June 16th, 2017. This is when I was homeless, and I typed this up at EQ in the Heights. I think, maybe at Antidote Coffee, somewhere between those. And I was getting kicked out of places, and I'm homeless and shit. And crypto saved me. This is like the day before crypto saves me, actually, as I typed this up. Oh, really? Actually, now that I think about it, I typed this up, and then I went and looked at my crypto stuff, and I had crypto. It was like I had to type this to remember that I had crypto. I sent this to Stephen Baldwin and Jay Electronica. And I explain Jesus, and I break it down here, and I'll include this in the description here, and how the name is important, and how just the title and the stuff that I'm saying about Allah. But here in Genesis 1, when God said, let there be light, when Elohim, Aleph Lamed, when Allah said God, let there be light, and there was light, and said Allah wa yomer Allah yoi yeah, yoi yo yod hey yod yod hey, it means Yah or Jah or Yah, like yod hey ia. The yod at the end is possessive. Jesus is saying he's that yod. He's also saying he's Elohim. He's not saying he is the light. He's saying he's the word that possesses the creation ability, because he is the creator and the the agency of creation, and is and was and will be. And yo, I am. Yeah. Yoi! And to Bob Marley and the Wailers, or Buffalo Soldier, you can see Ray, born of Ray. So that's Rayfield Sr., Rayfield Jr., that's Egypt. And Matt, because Egyptians are assholes and they're calling me a girl. But I still uphold truth and justice. And that's why I'm Jehovah. Yeah. But Wayomer Elohim, Wayomer Elohim, Elohim, Yoi or Wa Yoi or. The Yoi means be, like exist. Exist light. And God said exist light. He doesn't say let there be. He says exist. He says his own name. Be. Like light. Exist. And because the agency of God's power is so great, guess what happens? There was light! Yeah. So, Yo created me when his purpose first unfolded, before the oldest of his works. From everlasting, I was firmly set. Now, that Yod-He is clearly the same Yod-He that's the name here, Jehovah in the shortened form. It always means that, and that's used 50 times in the Old Testament. But guess what? And even in the New Testament, that's why you say hallelujah at the end when judging the whore. Praise IA because some whore snuck into the police and have been abusing me. And they're using a tax out of the Netherlands. They have the legal right to abuse me and use prostitution out of the Netherlands. Except I have the word of magistrate, the gods on me, and it makes it better for everyone to judge this whore and get to a better reality. So the word Lord in most Bibles is taken out. It's actually the name Yah, Jehovah, the name of God. So most of the time when it says Lord in caps, it actually says Yah or Jehovah. And again, Wa Yomer El Allo I'm Yoi. And so, from everlasting I was firmly set. God spoke his own name, said, let there be light. The deep was not when I was born, and there were no springs to gush with water. Well, when God says, let there be light, right? Let's go to... It might be a little longer than normal, but I think this is a great explanation of wisdom so that you can understand this, because this is what the Pope should be teaching people, and he's not, because instead of this, he's allowing the Catholic Church to abuse little boys. He is allowing a bunch of satanic priests to continue a fake religion where they've taken the name of God out of the Bible, and they're being used by the Mecca Slam people, I think, to Mecca Slam me. I'm even being harassed by a quote-unquote magistrate of Italy that's saying when this earthquake happens, they get thrown out of their positions of earthly authority and are screwed forever. Interesting that you earned your meteorology degree at the same place you earned your law degree, Imagination Land. It's also funny that the Lord of the Storm is afraid of a little water and wind. Don't worry, bring me your butthole, I'll keep you safe. Well, that's because I messaged Debbie Payton to bring me her butthole, because it's clear her family's attacked me, and we're being watched and have been for a while. But just, I mean, watch this. Here's the point that I highlighted in here. I believe people forcing me to do the storm activity is what brings it. I mean, how many obvious connected to me things do there have to be? It says at the end of the Bible, I have a little strength, and then once this becomes like I'm sat on the throne, that's the end. I can just call it down whenever. And it's connected to having the word and the authority of God on me. That's why we're waiting on this earthquake here, because these fake Jews have taken that authority and they're saying that they have the authority, but instead of using the name, they're saying Hashem. And I think that's just some girl in coven with a bunch of witches who've harassed away my life here in Houston, Texas. And I'm the singularity word of God, emperor of the is, was, and will be. And once it's proven, that's the end is come moment. And yo, that's what I'm doing right now. And so when it's saying here, the deep was not, and it's talking about the abyss, and the emperor of the abyss is someone in the book of Revelation stinging people for 5 months. And I've had these police officers here like Nick Vo and Judge Baldwin here harassing me for 5 months. And I mean, is Judge Baldwin just something connected to, I tagged people here like UT Dallas and LHN people, and people are trying to give my authority to anybody else, so they're using sexuality to abuse me with people who are connected to me, and nobody's speaking up about it because it's obvious rape, but they're trying to take away the power and disprove God. They're trying to disprove reality to take, because they don't want to be judged by it or something. But the truth is the truth, and people have attacked me in really wrong ways. So here, when it says the deep was not, I, and it says, when it says the I here, the deep, and here even in 14, by counsel is mine. Let's see. There were no depths here Tehom, abyss. There were no depths when I was brought forth. And then you go to Genesis. It's talking about 1:2, so over the abyss, where God says, let there be light. When he says be, when Elohim says yoi or our, without form, it was tohu, T-O-U. Tu is vain, worthless, is void. Buhu, tohu, bohu, and chosek, dark. Upon the face, panim of the deep, of the abyss. Is that Japanim? Of the abyss. Because they have a emperor. Deep main water supply, the tomb, Tehom, the abyss. And this is the abyss, I believe, from Revelation 9, where the person who can sting people. And then at the sixth seal is Armageddon, or the sixth, is that the sixth seal or the sixth trumpet? I don't believe it's the sixth plague. Maybe it's in coordination with the sixth plague, and that's Armageddon or something. But here's the abyss, Sheol. This is so J Electronica, the road to perdition, the road to the tomb, the abyss here, or the emperor of the abyss is, let's see, to distract, ring again, make a noise, murmur, roar, discomfit, be moved, make an uproar, agitate greatly, show disquietude, ring again, make a noise, moved, destroy, to defeat in battle, put in commotion, to move noisily, confuse, make a noise, discomfit, break, consume, crush, destroy, trouble, vex, hum, to hum. So even Quiet and Metal Gear Solid hums, hum, and I think it's relating to some kind of Hummer thing because she's some kind of fluffer rape joke. Like they took women bonded to me and just turned them into like dick-sucking whores, and that's the idea of wisdom versus folly. But and the Whore of Babylon, they did that to at least one, maybe a number of the women in my reality, maybe all of them, and that's why I'm blessed with what I am, the 144,000 virgins at the end of the book of Revelation, and people like realize I'm actually fixing sexuality and fixing things instead of being harassed and abused. Instead of playing a game of sexual domination and you're caught in a dungeon, God comes and fixes it. It's like Diablo. You get it, except Diablo gets thrown into a burning lake. It's like World of Warcraft to my cousin Alex. Yo, Yoi, guess what? I can actually call down, like, in World of Warcraft, I can call down hail like a blizzard. You get it? That's what a blizzard is. The hail is going to get bigger. To my cousins from Oklahoma, where hail trace goes on and all this hail is kicking up, and you can see it going on in Texas, too. And it's been going on almost every day in Saudi Arabia to the fake Mecca slams. Yoi! So here, it's talking about the abyss. The deep was not when I was born, and that's talking about wisdom. There were no springs to gush with water. Here when it's talking about the abyss, that's what it's talking about. And then God, magistrate, Elohim says, Yoi! And there was light over, am I being attacked by the police? Nick Vo, is he the Emperor of the Abyss? Or is it Judge Baldwin? Or is it J Electronica? They're on the road to perdition? Or who has attacked me to the point where it's literally the end of the book of Revelation and I'm going to have all authority on the planet? Because I think it was paid for by sovereigns. Who are not over God. God is over sovereigns, but God is a sovereign. The King of Kings, Lord of Lords, God of gods. Again, to the fake Mecca slams. So to the Nation of Islam, I believe are black people paid off to by Muslims to convince other black people like Islam is the right thing to Mecca slam me. Change your mind, repent, because Yoi, there's one God, Jehovah, and that is the gods, and Yoi. And then to the to what I was saying, I even said this right before this, but to this video. To the white people paid off by the Saudis and Arabs and fake Mecca slams. Neoconservatives, yeah. Change your mind, repent. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. So to the nation of it, do the people not get that when I'm talking to the nation of Islam and neoconservatives and the people that are paying off their interest, or it's like the money is coming from the same place, do they not get, oh, he's right. He's the only one looking out for our rights. Olivia Munn, do you not get that? I'm the only one looking out for your rights. I'm the only one looking out for Olivia Munn's butthole. I'm the only one who cares about it, Olivia Munn's butthole, actually. I mean, just to bring this up, talking about wisdom and folly, like, I'm being harassed, like, to an extreme degree, and, like, I think people are mocking me and mocking her and abusing and making this... And, like, I'm trying to make some jokes about how ridiculous and silly this is, but they're harassing me and abusing me to an extreme degree, and I can't get them to stop and fix this problem for me and women. And that is folly. So change your mind, repent. The kingdom's at hand. Once the earthquake happens here, that's it. There's no changing your mind. The kingdom's set. People are being thrown into a burning lake over the rape attacks on my reality because they've been holding up fake gods and hurting people, torturing them in rape dungeons and abusing people in 2019 where you can film everything. And this all needs to end. And even the psychological abuse to an extreme degree. It all needs to end. And the Stephanie Yostin character needs to end. So here where it's talking about this, before the mountains were settled, before the hills I came to birth, before he made the earth, the countryside, or the first grains of the world's dust, when he fixed the heavens firm, I was there, when he drew a ring on the surface of the deep. For those who talk about the flat earth, when he drew a ring on the surface of the deep. I guess that could be a circle, huh? Is this 2D, y'all? Does it look like 2D land? All right, yo. When he thickened the clouds above, y'all see the clouds. When he fixed fast the springs of the deep. Los Angeles, they see the clouds. Yo. Quiet. Yo. When he fixed fast the springs of the deep, when he assigned the sea its boundaries, and the waters will not invade the shore, when he laid down the foundations of the earth, I was by his side, a master craftsman, delighting him day after day, ever at play in his presence, at play everywhere in his world, delighting to be with the sons of men. The great invitation is this header for the final portion of wisdom. This is what wisdom is speaking. And now, my sons, listen to me. Listen to instruction and learn to be wise. Do not ignore it. Happy those who keep my ways. Happy the man who listens to me, who day after day watches at my gates to guard the portals. For the man who finds me finds life. He will win favor from Yahweh. But he who does injury to me does injury to his own soul. All who hate me are in love with death. So let me redo this. For the man who finds me finds life. He will find favor from Yod-Heh Wahe, Y-O-U-O. He will find favor from You-O. You. Oh. But he who does injury to me does hurt to his own soul. All who hate me are in love with death. That's why, because they're suicidal assholes. So get them out of the picture and then we party. Rave over Yah. You get it? The people who are attacking me are just suicidal, rapist assholes who've asserted over the operating system, the pew pew pew, where you send an operator, tier 1, tier 2, tier whatever. All right, well, I got some tier 0 angels that can exert out of 0 point and affect your realities in ways that you have no fucking clue. How does that sound? Tier 0 messengers of magistrate, the most powerful magistrate to ever exist over all nations, over all anything. You get it? The nations are attacking me. It's literally what it's talking about. Sovereigns are attacking me. I'm being attacked, I think, even by the Catholic Church because I made these videos. So let's go back 5 months. In Revelation 9, I'm talking about, by the way, I'll bring this up. And all these women wearing burqas and veils and want to mecha slam people because they're mad at the patriarchy. Yahweh Zabaot. It's a female Zabot. It ends with a feminine plural. So I think it's of the female armies, but you know, go ask Gal Gadot, or you know, maybe not Wonder Woman, because she's following Zeus. She's calling Zeus daddy instead of Yahweh. Do you get why this is an issue in modern day reality? To all the fake Jews in Israel, seriously, do you get why someone like Gal Gadot, like popularizing Zeus, would be completely against your interests? Like it would literally be destroying Israel itself from the end. Yo, battery just ran out. Gal Gadot being Wonder Woman and getting women to follow Zeus's daddy or any of the Greek gods or some kind of fake mecha slams or something. DC and Marvel versus God, actually. Yo, and as I'm saying this, someone messed with my GoPro. And I think when it's talking about the harassment, they're able to use the police force here to harass me in illegal ways which are violating my rights as an American. So even in secular America, I'm being harassed and abused to an extreme degree where the state has violated my rights multiple times, falsely imprisoned me and abused me. Here it's talking about the fifth trumpet, and it's talking about smoke coming out of some kind of shaft. Well, here you're looking at these volcanoes in Japan and in Mexico, Sakurajima and Popo, and all around. Smoke is coming out of them. You got lightning storms here, and the lightning is clearly connected to me. Like, stop bullshitting. I mean, seriously. I mean, I can go back through a number. It says in the Bible, I know you have a little strength. And as I'm doing push-ups here, because I'm having to fight the entirety of these rapist, terrible people who are even violating my rights as an American. So America has to stand up for me, or else the whole charade of America falls. It's talking about the abyss, that watery tomb. So when Vince Staples is saying, you are now tuned in to the tomb of Jehovah. the tomb. When he unlocked the shaft of the abyss, smoke poured out when, you know, Vince Staples and the Gorillas, but to the Jew. Yeah, I mean, that's actually Jehovah, but it's Jew. Do you get it? That's the name of their God, the Jews' God. It's Jew. You. It's yo. Yeah. When he unlocked the shaft, smoke poured out of the abyss like the smoke from a huge furnace, so that the sun and sky were darkened by it, and out of the smoke dropped locusts. I mean, I can show you the locusts that are in Saudi Arabia at the moment. I can show you all the lightning and crazy storm activity all on my Twitter. I can show you just on my Facebook recently. It's talking about the hail, but you can see here, like, this is not normal. This is...
Back one and gone. Boy, he just beat this part. Hey, man, look at the side of this hole in this car. What is this car made of? Plastic? Wood? Paper?
This is in Grapeland, Texas.
Look at that. Oh, man. Man, it's called. That's paper. Huh? I can hide my hand. Man, God damn. Look at that. Boy, there was some hell on this poor car. This poor car caught hell. Gonna be a bunch of paper bags and tape going on. Hey, yeah, that car there, it had to be made of plastic, paper, tin, or something. The light going on it. But look at the hole in this one, though, man. That's what you look at.
Either way, look at all of that.
Yeah. Took all that plastic up on this car.
So to the Texans here violating my rights, this is why people would come and deal with you in extreme measures. You're violating my humanity, you're violating my God, their God, you're violating my civil rights, you're violating all kinds of realities, abusing me for no reason, for money. And the money's paper money. It's not even good money. It says Garland, but that was in Grapeland, Texas. But, I mean, you can see here Camden... Is that Missouri or Mississippi? MS. I think it's Missouri. But if I'm wrong, link in the comments. Let me know. All right. Look at this spiky hail. You don't want this hitting people, and the hail gets to a talent large, which means somewhere between like 50 to 150 pounds. Like, but whatever the measure of talent is actually. Right now, even these tiny quarter size, like 2-inch hails are doing damage to, this is to a police station in Lexington. Here's hail in Austin. Here's 24 more comments worth of hail. Val and Amy's truck gets smashed. Is that relating to people connected to my reality from Luther North who've been attacking me? Like, actually?
5 on the hail now.
Okay. Should I give an update?
You know, I'm ready.
I mean, this is damaging people's stuff. This is obvious damage on top of the crypto damage. Nick Vo, your perjury has caused this. Judge Baldwin, your abusive attack on my reality where you're denying that this is public and that you're violating my rights and have falsely imprisoned me and are empowering perjury. It's causing damage to people. It's hurting people. IA is saying so. Do you see this? This isn't normal. This has been happening since I've been bringing this up. This is in Kuwait. You're causing God to make this judgment because your false judgments are hurting humanity. You can't make a false example out of me. It's like trying to terrorize humanity with Satan. Do you get it? Because it's fake. You shouldn't be judging people who are innocent like this. You aren't the ones to judge. God is. So you're acting on some demon shit. You get to see Shady. Al Shaddai. Al Shady. Al Shady. You get it? Shady, baby. Seriously, this is what this is. A third of mankind. By the way, Judge Baldwin, my leg snaps in crackles and pops because magistrate is being used, you specifically are being used to hold down on me in a way which is provable that it hurts my physiology, but modern day science doesn't want to prove it, and you're setting an example to where if I didn't prove this out, they would abuse me to the point where they could do this to anybody and just they would be the judges of all mankind. But I'm gonna be the judge, and I'm gonna have them thrown into a burning lake for torturing me like this, and we're gonna go to a place where we actually party and have fun. And don't die, where death isn't expected from birth. Here's hailstorm in Constantine, Algeria. A sudden hailstorm in India. A sudden hailstorm in Subramania. I mean, I believe that's more around India and the Indian subcontinent. Here's Taupo and Tutukau Road. I believe that is New Zealand. Here's Vancouver and Florida and Orlando and Jacksonville and Austin and Normandy and San Marcos and Louisiana and Alto, Texas. It's all in Arkansas. And I could go back to where it's in California and where it's happening everywhere on the planet. And no news is covering this properly because they're all paid off by these fucking oil companies, and they're paid off by people, I say oil companies, people trying to consolidate power. A ton of money comes out of the fake Mecca slams in the House of Saud where they're trying to consolidate power. That's why 9/11 happened and there was no ramifications on the Saudis. That's why these people are still trying to steal away my life. That's why Jamal Khashoggi was executed and murdered with no ramifications. Because these people are above the law because they sit on a throne where they can abuse people. And they aren't above God, and God is bringing judgment. The hail that's gonna hit them on their dumbass fucking heads and kill them is going to judge them. More than their fucking courts that are obviously paid off. That dumb fucking Sharia law. Sharia law. It's just some fake Mecca slam rape law that some Arab gang is using to steal away reality from me. So that's why when it's talking here, and there's all sorts of gangs of people in the underground. There's a high table that controls governments. That's why John Wick is going for the high table, if you haven't figured that out. Yohanan Wick, and at the end of the Bible, why it's John and Jesus. John Wick is he's as much of a tier 1 operator should be able to look at John Wick and say, okay, I get it. I get what this is about. There's wisdom in that. I mean, actually, it's not just, movies aren't just movies. But they're being used in Egypt land here. Luxuriant Egyptian bedding. In Egypt land and Babylon to, control people's mind. So I'm taking it back through the righteous IA courts. If you can't tell, they treat me like a cat. Who do you think? Keanu is a cat. What do you think that was based off? So here it's talking about these, out of the smoke of the abyss, out of the smoke drop locusts that were given the powers scorpions have on the earth. So I sent to... One moment. I sent to T-Mill, and I just put a video up to T-Mill. I sent to T-Mill this thing where it's really obvious that Whitney and T-Mart, I believe they're harassing me for someone, but they've signaled for all sorts of stuff, maybe for themselves, obviously. But here, March 6, 2017, I posted this with a scorpion and a knife, and then she posted this the next day, March 7th. So March 7th, she posted this, and then she even posts stuff about if the men beat you, protect yourself. Except I'm pretty sure, is T-Mart beating her and she has bruises and shit or something, and she's protecting him because she's afraid or something, and it's yo, your one chance to end this for all women has been, when it says here, why Jesus never called on me to part the fucking seas. I've called on you for years and you haven't done it. That was April 20th, 2017. I've been calling on you. You even got a scorpion tattoo April 18th. And on March 6th, I posted this scorpion thing. It's obvious you're watching and harassing me. You're trying to instill some kind of reaction out of me. So to all these people, and then when they're saying, why can't you watch? Well, they've invested so much into this already that if I stopped watching and just did that it would fail. So they've surrounded me and harassed me in reality land, they've been cutting off my power. When I lived at the Sovereign, and they were cutting off my power, and I'm getting messages here you're a grown-ass man, your parents owe you nothing. My mom is my lawyer, and she has certain legal obligations to me as my civil lawyer in a number of cases to represent my rights properly. And at the Sovereign, I have obvious evidence that they were fucking with my power from the fuse box, and she isn't recognizing that or treating it properly. So I think she's being used to harass me and abuse my rights away too. And she's my lawyer, so this brings more problems. She's not just my mother, she is my active lawyer in my civil cases. So they're attacking me through, in the least, defamation, in the most, they're using my mom against my interests. So who is they? I think they're obvious interests against me. They're telling me on my Twitter and elsewhere, beware. We are against you, the word of God. So I sent that to T-Mart, to T-Mill, and he says, it's just a coincidence that Whitney got the scorpion tattoo. It's just a coincide. It just coincides like the thing with Kirtland, another one of these women in Coven, surrounding me and harassing me. Not helping me, even though it's in her interest. She got sent to a mental health place just like I did, against her will, and instead of helping me and standing against this kind of stuff, where she was forcibly medicated, I think, and they tried to do that to me too, and they did that to me. Legally, they were allowed to because Joel Macaluso committed perjury, and so they were able to legally abuse me because of the law, and there's no ramification or recourse, and my rights are being abused, and they convinced my mom, they defamed my mom again, and so my rights are being abused. Again, my mom is a form of guardian and has been, but she is also my lawyer and represents a number of my legal interests. So when you're using her against my rights, you've defamed my lawyer against me and it's hurting me. I mean, actually, that's not legal. So these people who surrounded me like T-Mill are saying, I recommend you taking a break from social media because I've caught them out in really provocative and wrong situations where they get called out in history, like the Dynamo here. And I sent Zach Emons the thing about the Houston Dynamo scandal. I better receive something from the Dynamo because they've still defamed me. There's a civil thing. Any lawyer that wants to take it has it. But I think Trump is allowing people to be threatened under the table in public where they've shadow banned me and you can't see the threats. And it's being allowed by Trump's throne of power, his executive throne. And I actually should have that ability, and that's why it should be taken away from him and given to me, and all the authority of the free world should be given to me because they've attacked my liberty enough times to where I'm the example of how you should move forward with this and the way you deal with suicidal people who would abuse away your rights and just lie to your face like T-Mill here who would say I'm crazy when I'm obviously not and abuse me. All right, we're going to end this once and for all suddenly. Court case, if you're on the other side, obviously, then you're going to be thrown into a burning lake alive. We're going to round you up. Those tier 1 operators that you tried to use against me to harass me and rape me, the ones that haven't are going to round the ones that have up, along with some tier 0 operators. They're going to see some mass destruction events, which let them know they better, or there's no reality for them otherwise. And we're going to get over this fucking retarded brain damage where these people are attacking me and abusing away my rights, and these women are in coven like, I can only talk to you right now. Or Debbie Payton, I think her daughters have been paid off to harass me, else she's not, like the Paytons, Tony Payton and Debbie Payton, I believe have been used by the Catholic Church to attack me, this fake Catholic Church. Here you have, it's talking about the furnace, and they were given the powers of scorpions. So is it like with Whitney? I've told Whitney, I love Whitney, and I think Whitney is a fun and great person, and I've been trying to like wake her up to the reality that she's just being harassed and abused and protecting her harassed like abusers, and that's a lot of women like Olivia Munn too, and the Stephanie Yostens and all this, and instead of helping me, and all sorts of women around my life, and instead of helping me, they're participating with the harassing and abusive men, not the good men, the abusive and harassing men that are taking away people's rights and trying to make this a dungeon. And like this Satan character, because they're aroused by the power, but he's going to be thrown into a burning lake and they're going to have no arousal ever again and be tormented for all eternity because they're dumbass fucking decisions, actually. So that's where we are. And the scorpion thing, I think, is something relating to sexuality. Maybe that they're being used as some kind of law enforcement rape attack by the police system or by people like a corporate police military structure. Some kind of syndicate. But it says these scorpions have the power, these locusts have the power that scorpions have on the earth. They're forbidden to harm any fields or crops, only to attack people or men without God's seal on their forehead. Without that, like, without God's seal. Men will long for death and not find it anywhere. They will want to die and death will evade them. So I'm assuming it's police rape force in modern day Babylon here, and they're using technology to empower their rape behavior and sexual rape attacks, and they're just like paying off men's wives and husbands and stuff to hurt them sexually, and that's part of my guess. But here it's talking about they'll give them, when they were told not to kill them, but give them pain for 5 months. This pain was the pang, the pierce, like the pain of a scorpion sting. It's like a pierce. When this happens, I think it's talking about a pierce sexually. Like maybe, or the Stephanie Yostens, did they pierce her sexually? Did they pierce her nipple publicly? What are they doing to her? And it's like on some kind of 4chan TV that I can't see or something, or 8chan TV. They will want to die and death will evade them. To look at, these locusts were like horses armored for battle. I think the Stephanie Yostens are mocked like horses. Though I like these horses. They had things that looked like gold crowns. I mean, I like I thought I liked them until they abused me. I think I still like Miss Piggy. I don't think she could hurt me. They had things that looked like gold crowns on their head, and faces that seemed human, and hair like women's hair, and teeth like lion's teeth. I mean, these are all symbolic, and I've explained this in my other YouTube videos. Hair like they're like these women, but they're being used in robotic fashion. They had body armor like iron breastplates. I mean, breasts, are they using their tits like they're shades? They are shades, actually. And the noise of their wings sounded like great charge of horses and chariots. Their tails were like scorpions, so their butts, I mean, are the Stephanie Houston's virgins, except they've been fucked in the butt or in the mouth, or they've been pierced publicly or rubbed publicly, or what? They're being kissed, or just their image is being used in really inappropriate ways, obviously. And they were able to injure people for 5 months. I mean, did they buy off all these women and pierce them publicly for 5 months? And then, as the leader, they had their emperor, and the 5 months is maybe they not only pierced them, but they got them pregnant, or that's the time as when they get them pregnant, there's this Armageddon moment, because like all this other stuff's going on at once, and so it's like everything is being judged at once. Anyway, as their leader, they had their emperor, the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon. Donald Trump? Abaddon? Or Apollyon? Apollyon-wick? So he won at the polls, right? But I don't actually think, because he was like helped by Rosh Tubalsk and Meshech. So is that because he's the Emperor of the Abyss, because he's using his legal authority to attack through the Stephanie Yostins? Or what's going on here? Because I know he's aware of it. Or is that the Emperor of Japan? Or who is that? Someone out of Japan is attacking me and using photosexuality, like rape warfare, where these women have been bonded to me, and then they're trying to shock me with their image being like slowly stripped down, and they're like supposed to be my chaste wife, but instead they're being like abused covertly and then slowly stripped publicly. And then the sixth trumpet is the sixth trumpet, and the sixth seal, and the sixth plague. Release the 4 angels that are chained up at the great river Euphrates. These 4 angels are put there for this hour of this day, of this month, of this year, and they were released to destroy 1/3 of the human race. I learned how many were in their army. Twice 10,000 times 10,000 mounted men. Is that 200 million? Let me do my something about math. Go do that math. And then it's talking about what they'd look like and stuff, and then people wouldn't stop worshiping devils, and they wouldn't give up idols and things that they had made with their own hands. Idols made of gold and silver and all this shit that they're like all this craft work. Instead of like you have infinity forever, they're like addicted to their work, or they're workaholics or something. Like my mom, I can't get her to stop working and help me. Nor did they give up their murdering or witchcraft or fornication or stealing. Fornication, their prostitution. This fornication word has been taught to people wrong. It's not what you think it is, but it's in context of our society is broken, and the language is even being used against people. So then there's the 2 witnesses in the book. 2 olive trees and lampstands that stand before the Lord of the world. And then when they've completed their witnessing, the beast comes out of the abyss. And there's the little E next to it. Is that the Stephanie Yostins? And it's going to make war on them and overcome them and kill them. Their corpses lie in the main street of the great city known by the symbolic something. Let's see, date from calculator. Okay, yeah. So here's the date from calculator today. Let's subtract 1,260 days, huh? October 26, 2015. It was well into the Stephanie Yostin's reality. Well into Metal Gear Solid had already come out, and I think they were trying to attack me still, and I wasn't falling for it as much, and they couldn't figure out why. Let's go back 5 months and figure out what that is. 5 months would be, this is 6 months, 180 days. That's October 10th. 5 months, 150 days is November 9th, though when we go to YouTube, 5 months is this video from the 7th, where again, and this is the 7th, where it's talking about Steph Schierick, Houston Lightning Storm, and Leviathan or Lewiatan. And then the next one is, so right before that is Japanese volcanoes, so that abyss where the smoke, and Ani, I think people paid off by the emperor to, like, in demon form. And then, so they're like Lamasu. And then Steph Schierick, Grace, LHN. So the high school I went to, UTD, because I think that something weird is going on where they're pairing up people in rape fashion from my reality to abuse me in ways that are, it's toxic and poisonous to mankind, but they're using it, they're trying to go up against the wisdom of God and make it into a joke, so God is making the whole thing into a joke. The next thing is Behemoth, Bamut, and Bamut, B-O-M-B, Bet, Hey, Mim, Wav, Tau, and Leviathan, Lewiatan. And then the next day, so the 9th, is Catholic Church added on to that. And then the next one is Brittany Yoshim, Fluffy, Brittany Orlando, Amy Jurgen, and Disney Assassins. This satirical video that I released to explain the harassment that was going on where these women were stalking and harassing me. And then Detective Nick Vo used that specific video, violating my First Amendment rights, and a number of other instances where the women didn't even ask me to stop and they were harassing and stalking me, where they specifically are filing false charges based on this video and other instances of me telling people in self-defense that they would be thrown into a burning lake for abusing me and harassing me. And instead of fixing it, Nick Vo, corrupt detective here, committed perjury, and I think they used Nick Vo because he looks like straight and narrow, but perjury in and of itself is corruption, so that's why he would be dealt with in an extreme manner, because he's being put up in a satanic fashion against God. I also think this has something to do with Tennessee. And Lewiatan, so L-U-I-T-N. I mean, did he rape through Stephanie Yostin? And then if the answer is yes, then burning lake execution while still alive. He can't do that. Police can't do that. That's why you would end people like that. He's not straight and narrow. He's a rapist abuser. So all of these people, in the least, he obviously committed perjury. On that, they've committed false imprisonment. They've also put felony charges on me that even a judge thought went against my First Amendment rights. But this goes against my First Amendment rights already, and they've committed false imprisonment, and they're torturing me because they're trying to get me to say I'm crazy, like with what Timo is saying. This isn't schizophrenia. I mean, you can see everything in coordination with what's going on. In addition, I'm just making more reason and sense than these people who are saying I'm crazy. Their manual, their diagnostic manual, has changed since the first time I've looked at it. This hasn't changed in a long time because it's not changeable. It's not Buddhist or some bullshit like that. It's real. So, and then the next thing is Satan, Bell, and Egypt, and here where I'm talking about Apocalypse and Stan Lee and stuff, and then Stan Lee dies. So, their corpses will lie in the main street of the great city known by the symbolic names Sodom and Egypt. Sodom means abuse, not butt sex. I'm telling the women that I want, like, connected. I'm even telling Debbie Payton, and that's why this magistrate of Italy, Debbie Payton, who's used her daughters, and Tony, who's used his daughters to harass and abuse my life away, and his son to harass me. In the least, they're being used by the Catholic Church to harass me and abuse me, and they aren't coming out about it in a public way. Like, I've told Debbie, bring me your butthole. Like, it's, in the least, help me fix this problem, but you could help me with this sexual thing where your daughter has attacked me, and you could fix this. You could fix a bunch of people's issues by talking out about this, but instead I'm being harassed further and further by the Paytons. I mean, actually. And I think it's, I mean, did something with Hyde and Caroline, did I get that right? Is there something going on with Allison and any number of people? Or are people just trying to psychically impress abusive things on my psyche? whatever it is, the pagans need to like actively be brought into public and like this needs to be spoken out about. If I'm in some kind of Truman Show thing, then you just need to do what I say, and Debbie needs to bring her butthole. Fuck you, Debbie. Shady. Eminem should laugh at that. I think he would laugh at that. And that's why they call me Rap God. And that's where you see it's talking about men out of every people, race, language will stare at their corpses 3.5 days, letting them not be buried. They'll be glad about it, and they'll celebrate this because these 2 prophets have been a plague to the people of the world. Then after 3 days, God breathed life into them, and they stood up. And everybody who saw it was terrified, and they heard a voice. It's not adultery if the person you're connected to, if you're an extended family, so if Debbie's and the Pagans were in the extended family, and there was an agreed upon relationship, and it didn't affect and it didn't hurt people in a way, but that like Tony, the husband, and Debbie, the wife, agreed, and that things were okay in whatever. In the least, people need to fix these issues, and I'm trying to make points that fix issues. First of all, people are swinging, but they're not doing it right. It can be done in a way that doesn't hurt people, but right now it's just done in abusive fucking ways. People need to fix this. This is abuse, especially with these Catholic people and these Christian people and Muslims who are swinging. It's like, you guys are so against the point, you don't even get it. So, fuck you, Debbie! And then it says, let's see. And then they heard in a loud voice from heaven say to them, come up here. And while their enemies were watching, they went up to heaven in a cloud. Immediately there was a violent earthquake, and 1/10 of the city collapsed. 7,000 persons were killed in the earthquake, and the survivors, overcome with fear, could only praise the God of heaven. So we're waiting on an earthquake here. 2 witnesses that you would be able to see on TV, like I'm watching these people on YouTube going and giving donations to people in Skid Row. Like the guy who's been Life on Skid Row, who I think has been tricked by the Mecca Slam people. They're fake Muslims. They're basically neoconservatives for black people. Like the fake Christian neoconservatives, but for black people. Just change your mind. I mean, seriously, it's like this fake duality of white-black has been used against me for long enough. And Asian people, look, you're harassing Keanu. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're harassing Neo and John Wick. Not neoconservative, but like, you know, you get it. And to the devil dogs, you're harassing the Punisher. Stop it. Stop it. To John Bernthal. To John Wick. Stop it. Oh, I got yokes, y'all. See, I believe if I'm making yokes out of this and I'm being reasonable, I'm making jokes and yokes, it's not schizophrenia. Clearly, when there's actual reality attached to it and I'm calling people on their bullshit that they're trying to hide, it's definitely not schizophrenia, and I'm definitely hilarious. In the least, I'm attempting to be hilarious, and it's not schizophrenia. It's not schizophrenia. When they sent me to the crazy house involuntarily, just like Cat Williams said in that mix that I put together, I learned I wasn't crazy. There are crazy people in the crazy house that very well teach you are not crazy if you are sane enough in mind to know that. And even the people at the crazy house, all the texts and stuff. Ask Michael Thomas. I mean, actually, ask Nurse Wynn. I was a model at HCPC. Literally, I think the whole unit felt my spirit there and like calmed down while I was in there, because the last day I was there, that shit went crazy as I was leaving. So here it says, immediately there's a violent earthquake and 7,000 persons were killed in the earthquake. Christians, this is the earthquake here, because this is where they crucified the Lord of the world. Jesus was killed in that city. This earthquake hasn't happened yet, but and the day of the Lord hasn't happened. That's the day of the Lord. When that happens, the person who has the word on him, yo, Matthew Ray Wilkins, that would be me. To these women who are talking about me, daughter of states' rights, that would be me. I think witches are using states' rights to abuse me, and then they're trying to attack into the Fed with that Mecha Slam stuff. Here it's talking about Here it then says, and that was the second of the troubles. The third is to come quickly. And then there's the seventh trumpet. The angel blew his trumpet, and voices could be heard shouting in heaven, calling, the kingdom of the world has become the kingdom of our Lord and his Christ, the anointed, and he will reign forever and ever. The 24 elders enthroned in the presence of God prostrated themselves and touched the ground with their foreheads, worshiping God. With these words, we give thanks to you, Almighty Lord, Pantocrator in Greek, in Hebrew, Al-Shady, shady, to modern day culture, shady. Allah, shady. Allah, shady. He who is what he is and was. To Jehovah's Witness, Jehovah. It even has a little J next to it. To fans of Marvel and DC, little J next to it. The Joker, or I guess in Marvel, Wolverine. For using your great power and beginning your reign. The nations were seething with rage, and now the time has come for your own anger, and for the judge to be, and for the dead to be judged. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. It's not DC and Joker, it's Batman and Wolverine. The nations were seething with rage, and now the time has come, because Joker's greatest joke is Batman. You get that? It's the greatest joke. Is Badman. He gets to just be another bad man. He gets to be one of these corporate white collar, just a bad man. You get it? Yeah, I'm pretty funny, right? He got yokes. Yo, got yokes. Yo. Yeah. That's how you laugh in Spanish. That's why I do that, if you don't get that. But it's also me saying my name and the name of God and a number of things. That's why it's funny. Should be kind of scary too, because it carries a lot of weight. Yeah. For using your great power and beginning your reign, the nations were seething with rage, and now the time has come for your own anger and the dead to be judged, and for your servants, the prophets, for the saints, and for all who worship you, small or great, to be rewarded. The time has come to destroy those who are destroying the earth. And then the sanctuary of God in heaven, opened up, and the Ark of the Covenant could be seen inside it. Then came flashes of lightning, peals of thunder, and an earthquake, and violent hail. And then it appears 12 comes after this. Is there another 1260 days? And then there's the final judgment where this all happens, or no? Is that that it already happened? And so 12 is just describing the 1260 days leading up to the period where the two witnesses are killed, and the 5 months before the two witnesses are killed, or the 5 months right before the sixth trumpet, and the sixth, so this 5 months. So this 1260 days here is the 1260 days, or 3.5 years from up here, and so this is already basically past. We're almost at the end. That end has come. We're just waiting on the earthquake to validate all this. That's why it's been so hard the past however long. Else, we're about to go through it right now because it could be nothing else. Did I just use this duality that people hold in my face to upend this false duality that people hold in my face? Yeah. So, the 5 months preceding them, because here's the beast in front of the abyss, and then the two witnesses are killed in front of the throne of the Lord of the world, and then they're brought back to life and brought up on a cloud, and a large earthquake in the great city in which the Lord was crucified. I guess that could be somewhere else. Wasn't crucified in Mexico City or something? And or what, in Indonesia somewhere, in Kathmandu? I mean, there was an earthquake in 2015 or something, right? In April, and then 5 months after that would be October 2015 or something like that, right? See how this works? It's like some weird timeline stuff that some people are playing. I mean, actually, that's why there's weird periods of time at the end of Revelation, because everybody's syncing up their timelines, like, and getting with the singularity Word of God Emperor instead of being tricked in confusion land. It fixes all this. So let's go to November 9th, which is saying 150 days away. That's June 12th when I was thrown. That's the day I was thrown into the mental health unit. And then, so let's go 1,260 days back from that. And if that's April, that's when there's a massive earthquake in Nepal. It's May. So there was massive activity May 29th. Around May 20-something, there's massive activity in volcanoes in Japan. And recently, the volcanoes in Japan have been going off, and in Mexico. I would be covering it more on my stream, but someone's DDoSing and harassing me, and it's being allowed by the government here instead of helping me like show the world melting down and how to fix it. They're harassing me and trying to like take everybody into the suicidal, like the world is ended and nobody makes it out. So I want to get out of this, and so the people that want to get out of this, that's why I am who I am, and I'm on the throne, and I'm the Lord of the world, and yeah. And when it's talking about Michael here, Michael and his angels and his messengers, who God, who Al, Michael, and that's what I've been saying. So, the one who has the word on him. And the devil is thrown down. All right. That's it. I believe I went over and finished the, he who sinneth against me. By the way, the word sin here, to miss the way, to go wrong, incur guilt, to miss, to forfeit, sin. Do you get it? When you get it wrong, like, I'm right on this. I'm the one with the word on me. Everything is better when you listen to me, but people trying to prove stuff for their egos and then make me egoless, like with Gritzy. It looks like, by the way, with Gritzy and this stuff here, I mean, it looks like them and a number of people with this egoless stuff are copying directly along with, I mean, it's even the same color scheme as, and this is how, like, I've been attacked by people in real life land, like, they're not engaging my issues and real issues that people are going through, playing part. So when I did this Yoda Wonka thing, I attached it to the last Gritzy thing I went to, and I did that on the 28th, and again, I think people are directly taking out of my being using some kind of sexual strike on my life. And if anybody wants their own rights over anything, they're not going to let me have any of my rights taken away. They would help me. And then you get your own rights. Do you get it? So these people who would want this to be their, like, to have any kind of say over their own stuff, you can't be letting me be attacked and stuff taken from me. And it's like they're just trying to exert on me and take away my ego. One of the things was these lame-ass DJs with Gritzy and even the people with Drop Clock who, like, I was connected to Drop Clock. They're playing games as if I'm not the person who's literally leading underground dance music and just dance music, which is why you would rave over Yah. You can go to this mix, which is 5.5 hours long. It's 5 hours and 20 minutes long. It's some of the best music, and I made it November 5th, so, or November 7th or 4th, like 5 months ago, almost exactly. And it has all sorts of really good dance music, EDM. If you played this on the radio, anybody should enjoy it. If you play it at like the most underground club, people should enjoy it. Like Gritzy people should enjoy this. This has like real deep dub along with actual good, like what they would call bro step and, Getter stuff where they are talking about Getter. And I feel kind of bad for people like Getter, only to the degree that he, like, I think he's making the music he likes and then people are harassing him. And that's what I'm trying to say I'm doing. And if he didn't play part, I mean, to any of these people I've sent messages to, come here to Houston. Like, you won't be, I'll make sure there's not harassment. This place can be fun. You can make music you enjoy. You can have like a place, like this can actually be not some kind of abuse lab, but like a real lab of creativity and music and technology and forward paradigm shifting movement. That's why I would have the word on me and be that emperor. You see here, the broadcast. Yes, Jah. Yeah. And then at the end of it, and it even has the abyss and like proper harlot and hallelujah anyway and hallelujah. And I mean, it's really, there's a lot of fun music in here that if you like EDM of all sorts, you should really enjoy this. Look, there's even some Gitter. And, and you know, I think that I have that wisdom enough that if people listen to me, we could very quickly be in a place where this is enjoyable and carry the party on for forever, because I think it's a zero-sum game. I don't think people have to die. I think that's been a zero-sum game that people have been exerting on people. I think that's been a zero-sum game. I don't think people have to die. I believe that's why the book ends with someone leading people out of death and like the having to die thing, because it's a zero-sum game where people have been harassing people and hurting people and stealing from people and fighting over stuff adversarially. But if there's someone who, it's mine, and I'm allotting it to people in a way which it makes this place better and more fun, and it empowers the stuff that I enjoy, versus like there's just a system in chaos being used by an Emperor of the Abyss, and at the moment they're just using it to sexually attack people. So, work with me to fix this. This has been Proverbs 8. This is going to be one of the longest videos because not only did I bring up Proverbs and talk about it, but I felt like it was really important to speak about the relevant things going on now, because I might do another Proverbs video in the future, but right now what I believe is going on and what is connected to me and like the stuff from the revelation, from the unveiling, the apocalypse that's going on is relevant. So I wanted to bring it up. But that's it. That's all. This battery's about to end. This is like going to be... This is the longest Proverbs video thus far. This is going to be the longest video of these thus far. So I hope you've enjoyed this and have gotten something out of this. And there really needs to be an engagement on this. People like Patrick Kelly at West End Church who... I mean, are they playing part in the attack on me? Or have they been paid off? Is this like Keaton has gotten some kind of authority from UT Dallas that they gave Patrick Kelly or something authority here in Texas, and that's connected to Drop Clock or something? What is going on where my rights are being harassed by Stephanie Yostin? If you sort that out where a bunch of women are attacking me and it's really obvious it's a fake account and stuff, and like that gets sorted out, all this other stuff where I'm calling people out and it's maybe true or maybe not, it's a lot easier for me to engage reality because this thing that's fucking with my reality has gone away. Still watching? That's why I've been saying this needs to be taken down and the abusive actions around it need to be ended. They need to, like, their buttholes are being used to abuse me, so instead of that, their buttholes need to come here and pleasure me. I mean, actually. That's the wisdom. That's why I'm the word of God by the end of it. The word of IA. They're being used by rogue, corrupt police officers or something. This is hurting all of humanity. Their buttholes are mine, and I'm going to use them how I want. And anybody using them in ways to abuse me, you're going to be thrown in a burning lake for harassing me like this and taking away my family, like abusing me and defaming me to my family, deviling me to my family, and causing problems and hurting me, and robbing from me to Big Grill in Italy, robbing from me to that magistrate in Italy. This is all your fault. You're some fake Catholics, fake Jews, fake Muslims. Y'all are satanic-ass rapists, and you're gonna die. That's why a third of mankind. Change your mind. Repent. Kingdom's at hand. You get it? This hand. And when it goes across that dumbass whore's face, your dumbass face, your dumbass whore of a face, you're gonna wish you had repented. You get it? The hand of God, and that earthquake happens, and the hail, and the lightning striking people, and like actively you can just see it around me. That's it. And the burning lake stuff. Y'all can go and die up in the lake sea. But not me. Because I know life's a game, and I know what the odds, and I know what the stakes be. There's drummer boy around me. See, you get it? I know what the odds, and I know what the stakes be, and I know it's a game, and I won the game, yeah. And if you want to win with me, yo, yeah. Get behind me, Satan. Adversary. That's Tennessee, by the way. Get behind me, Tennessee. If Houston wants to be the Oilers because some kind of attack happened through the Texans and it's hurting people's psychology, you need to let Houston be the Oilers. Like if they've attacked me, if some kind of attack has happened through this brand, If brands are being used to attack people, there needs to be reconciliation around it. And they are. Metal Gear Solid, they are. Stephanie Yostin, they are. All right, that's it. That's all. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed one. Yeah.